All right, here we go. So, welcome everybody to the call, and this is going to be an overview of what we're going to be doing in the upcoming weeks. My name is Tony Gambone, and I'm here with Linda Ballesteros, who has helped me with training of business owners. Well, we've been working together on that for about 5 or 6 years. We also do a weekly radio show together. So, this is going to be an opportunity for us to train everyone on how to build a home-based business. So what I wanted to do is make sure that, well, you got to put a picture with a face. Some of you know me, most of you know me, and a lot of you know Linda. But we are both speakers, trainers, radio hosts, and authors. Now, I just want to explain, these are going to be 15 to 20-minute videos, and we're not going to dig in too deep, but we're going to give you an opportunity to capture the opportunity that we're providing for you at no cost. Okay, this is all free, but it is going to be a way for you to plug in if you choose to. So what I want to do is, first of all, introduce Linda and turn it over to her. She's going to take over the presentation tonight, and I'll be back and forth in between. So Linda, welcome to the call.
Hey, thanks, Tony. I tell you, this is such a great opportunity, and Tony and I are really excited that you are joining us because we have learned the hard way and the wrong way to do it. And we want to kind of save you some of those bumps and bruises along the way, because we've got plenty of war stories to tell you, and we may even be sharing a few of those with you, and you'll probably be able to relate to some of those. But like Tony said, this is about a home-based business, and it is, the thing is that we usually join a company because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. But you know, folks, that doesn't mean that we will be a success. Just because you join a successful company that has a great product, that does not mean that you'll be successful. As a matter of fact, many people, and I'll tell you, I'll raise my hand, there on many occasions, I have quit within the first 90 days. What I found is the reason that a lot of people quit is one of two reasons. They are either not making money, or they don't have the support of their upline. And there's another fact that says that if you have the support of your upline, then you're going to make money. So do you see how that creates a really strong team? When you have the support and the training of your upline and your team is making money, they're going to be motivated. So again, I want to thank y'all for being here, and all of the leaders and the future leaders out there for being here and just joining us and taking advantage of this opportunity. So strategic prospecting. Now, that's what the title of this course says, you know, strategic prospecting. Maybe you haven't thought of it quite that way, but we're gonna show you a way to prospect and to build your business. It's probably going to be different than what you've been told or heard in the past, but we're going to have multiple modules in this. So tonight we're just kind of gonna just go over everything in a glance, so to speak. So you'll have an idea of what to expect. So it's about getting started. You know, that's where it all begins, is just getting started. And there's an old way, and that's called old school. And this may look familiar. You may have been told this. Well, I know I was told this by many uplines, that you go after your family and friends and you make a warm list. And you know, anyone standing within 3 feet of you, you have to tell them your story. And you have to tell it with passion, right? And then there's networking. Well, you know, I've written a book, Your Pot of Gold is a Handshake Away. And I tell people that there's a certain finesse in networking. And networking is more than just handing out your business cards, because I have to tell you, that's not going to work. It's about building relationships. And we're going to go into depth in how to build those relationships and how to be strategic about the relationships that you build. And then there's always prospecting with those strangers standing out at the mall, handing out DVDs. And I know that you're out there laughing because you've done it. And I bet it didn't work any better than it did when I tried it. And they're buying leads and cold calling. I tell you, this is really grueling, and it's exhausting. And in many cases, it sets you up for failure because it doesn't tap into your strength. It doesn't tap into your strength. So if you're not comfortable standing in the mall, hiding behind the bush and handing out these DVDs, then you're not going to be successful at this. So what we want to do is talk more about strategic prospecting. We want to talk a little bit more about how to be successful and have a more strategic approach to your prospecting. So let's look at the list that we're going to be, this is going to be the list that of modules that we're going to be talking about. Identify your why. I found a quote today, and Tony knows that I love quotes, because why create something or try to say something when there are people out there that can say it better than you could ever? This quote went like this: He who has a why can endure any how. So no matter what happens, if you have a why, and if you have a burning why, then you're not concerned about the how, because you'll figure it out. So we're going to talk about, identifying your why and know your market. Another thing I would add to this is know your industry. Know your industry. Make sure that you're learning more than just what the company sends to you about your industry. Become an expert at the industry. You want people to look at you and not necessarily see the company that you represent, but that you're an expert in that industry. Keep that in mind. Do not chase family and friends. Do not chase at all is my theory, but please do not chase family and friends. And I'm not going to say any more than that, because I think that pretty much says it, but we're going to talk more in the next couple of weeks about why that approach doesn't work, how we can approach family and friends, but in a different way. We're not going to hit them head on, and we're not going to hit them up front when you really know nothing about the product that you're trying to talk to them about. Be selective. I cannot tell you how critical it is that you be selective. I know, I'm hearing you out there going, but Linda, we've been told don't pre-qualify. I'm talking about something different. Just be selective with who you speak to and how you speak to them. That's going to make a difference as to whether they're open to it or not. So you just have to be selective. Listen, listen, listen. This is a big one, because if you listen to people, if you let them talk, you'll figure out what their why is. In talking to them, you'll be able to determine, do they want to get out of corporate? Do they have kids to put in college? Do they have a passion for maybe the healthcare industry? You have to listen to people. And I think, Tony, you've got that great phrase that talks about, that's why you've got the 2 ears and the 1 mouth, right?
Yeah, but we have 2 lips. I always got confused with that until I found out it was so that you could hold your mouth shut.
Oh, there you go.
Because it's hard not to talk sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. and especially when we're passionate. When we're passionate about something, we really want them to listen to that. But you can scare people away. I know I've done it many times. Many times.
What do they call that? Ignorance on fire?
Ignorance on fire. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So then there's personal development. And, you know, Tony and I have kind of referred books and authors back and forth that we have found that we've really connected with. Personal development, business books. So over the course of this particular webinar, we'll be making referrals. We'll mention books and we'll mention authors. And I really do hope that you come you show up with a pen and paper in hand. Because every now and then we say something that you might want to remember. So at least Tony does. I know he comes up with some brilliant things that you're going to want to write down for sure. But staying consistent. You can't work the business this week and take the rest of the year off and say it doesn't work, because it won't. You have to stay consistent. You may not see results right up front, but you have to stay consistent because you will get the results. But I have to tell you that the most important thing that you need to remember, the most important thing that you need to remember is to never give up. Never give up. Because, and I'll tell you, I've been one and I've given up, but you never know how close you are to success. You never know how close you are to success. And that's why you never give up, because it does take a lot of hard work. Folks, I'm telling you right now, being an entrepreneur is not for the faint at heart. So if you've heard people say that they've gotten rich overnight by joining a particular network marketing, direct sales company, then you're really going to want to run the other direction. Because success is hard work. And being an entrepreneur is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I was in banking for 30 plus years. So know that there's a learning curve. You need to educate yourself. You need to prepare yourself with personal development material to make sure that when you go out there and you get all of those no's every day, that the next day you can get up in the morning and you can go out there and probably get a yes that day. So know that there's a lot of work, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it. So Tony, what do you think about the upcoming week? You want to tell folks a little bit about what we're going to be talking about?
Absolutely. And, Linda, it's I was so intense in listening to you, I got to slide behind. I mean, it was really good information, and it isn't for the people that think that they're going to get rich overnight. There is no such thing. I mean, some people get lucky and hit the lottery, but they're broke in a year. So this does take commitment and personal commitment, because you're going to get more no's than yeses. You're going to have more bad days than good days, but it's going to be something that you're going to be so proud of in the future when you grow it. So next week, we're going to talk about identifying your why. I mean, we all have a story. A lot of us, Linda and I have worked with lots of people, from individuals to teams to corporations. And one of the things that we know for sure is so many people say, I don't know my why. We're going to sit down with you and help you to figure that out, because everyone has a story. Or they wouldn't have got involved in the beginning. There was something that made them do it. Knowing your market is so important, because if you don't know what the competitors are doing, well, it's going to be hard to have a conversation with someone about how great your stuff is when they bring up something else and how that compares to that. So we're going to be able to go through these modules every week, and we're going to do these. There's about 10 different weeks of modules that we're going to do on self-help and how to be strategic and successful in building and training your own teams. So we're super excited about that. So I want to make sure that everyone knows that next week, same time, okay? Unless you hear differently, we're always on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time. But identify your why, know your market. That's what we're going to be talking about. Now, if you're on this call and you have questions, usually everybody does, we're just making this simple so we can send this out and people can be a part of it. If you have questions, I want you to go to Tony at tonygambone.com and send me an email. If you're on this call or you're listening to this call and you weren't sure of how to stay on the list, I want you to go to crypto-preneurs.com. It's at the bottom of the screen here. Crypto, CRYPTO dash PRENEURS.com. And you can opt in to stay on our list. Now, we don't sell your list unless we get a whole bunch of money for it. Just kidding. We don't solicit to anything other than what you're asking for. And when you feel like you don't want to see this anymore, you can opt out trouble-free. So my name is Tony Gambone, and you're here tonight with Linda Ballesteros and myself. We hope that everyone will join us next week. At the same time, you'll get an email that reminds you. So I hope to see everyone then. And, I just hope that everyone takes time this week. Can I give them a piece of homework, Linda?
Oh, please do, Tony.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to write down 2 sentences that starts out your why for next week. Just 2. If you write a paragraph, 3 pages, it's good, okay? But just remember, nobody wants to hear that much. So let's narrow it down to 2 sentences where you can explain why you're excited about what you're doing. Tune in next week. We look forward to hearing from you.